Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today it's our Week 1 rankings show, the first one of the year. We're going to go over mainly some of your comments. We'll list off some of the top players, but if you really want all the ranks, go to our website, fantasyfootballprophet.com. You'll be able to find all of our full rankings and how we feel about everybody, which is a really tough thing to do in Week 1. I'll just put that disclaimer out before we start. It's difficult to do in Week 1 normally. It's even more difficult to do in Week 1 when we've seen literally nothing all preseason. So we are really taking some shots in the dark here, I guess. On some of them, other ones you just go with what you know, right? So let's just jump into this thing. I'll list some of my ranks, then we'll just go over some of the comments as well. So at quarterback, I'll just run through them. I put Lamar number 1 because I love Lamar, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Dak, Deshaun. It doesn't sound crazy, right? We're sticking with our main ranks for the most part. Breeze, Josh Allen, Matt Ryan. I did put Cam Newton up the ranks. I jumped him to 9. I just think there's something there. Then I went with Ben Roethlisberger at 10. So like Kyler dropped out of my top 10. He went to 12 because he's playing at San Francisco. I know he did okay last year, but it's still at San Francisco. Yeah. Just I'm slightly hesitant. I'm going to drop him a little bit, but he's still very playable. So
yeah, I almost have the exact same thing, which is funny. And I have Kyler at 10 and Cam Newton at 11, just until we figure out what exactly that is. But it's hard to. I scale back the matchup a little more
you don't want
at
to go
the beginning
too
of the year
crazy
because you don't really know, and people could be rusty. Kyler can run, so more than likely I'd probably start him if I had him. But yeah.
So Daniel Jones, this is the first comment. I've actually put Daniel Jones way down at 27, and where'd you end up with Daniel Jones here?
I'm at 26.
Okay,
so I didn't mess with him too much.
So this was going against the Steelers. I think it's a rough matchup for him early. So. One of the comments that came in right away are, why are you hating on Danny Dimes? I don't hate him. It's just a tough matchup. And because of that, I just don't want to mess around with it. So another one that people didn't like my rank of was Baker Mayfield. So I put Baker down at 30 this week. Where'd you end up with Baker?
I am at 25.
Okay, so you're a little higher, but
but I like him. But I mean, it's a rough one.
It's at Baltimore. Okay, he didn't do terrible against Baltimore last year, but it's still at Baltimore. It's just a rough. I just can't trust it, and so because of that, he goes way down my ranks. So that's another one. The comment says, "I'm sorry, but Mayfield at 30, dude is gonna pop off. He should at least be top 20."
Look, I get it, but there's also a lot of other guys that have relatively good matchups.
We think.
Yeah, and once again, QB as well is very up and down, right? And it does have to do with how well you finished last year. I believe in Baker this year, but we know that Baltimore should be pretty decent, and they have a really good run game. So I don't know if I really believe that they're going to air it out right away. I think they're going to establish with Chubb, and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe Baltimore gets up and he has to throw, and I could be wrong. But I would have a hard time starting him Week 1 until we see it.
And really, there's not like a lot for me to go over with quarterback. Quarterback is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's fairly, straightforward. The guys. Really, the only guy who maybe you drafted that maybe you don't start is Kyler, only if you have somebody else, possibly. Just because of that matchup. But I wouldn't hesitate, and I wouldn't really worry too much about starting Kyler Murray almost anytime, because I think that running ability is just going to give him enough. He has enough to fall back on, right? So I'm not terribly worried about that. All right, running backs. I'll run through some of mine. So I went McCaffrey, Zeke, Saquon at my top, which I guess there's no surprise there. Then I went Dalvin Cook. I went Derrick Henry. Let's see here. Josh Jacobs. Austin Eckler, I actually put number 7. I really jumped him up there. I know that's going to be off on some people's. Mixon, Kamara, and then Aaron Jones around on my top. Then Edwards-Helaire is 11. So I know Eckler's going to be the one where you're going to probably look at it like, ooh, that's a little higher. But so I'm not. Mainly it's going against the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals are any good. And if Eckler's going to, this is where it's kind of not much to go off other than a feel of they want to see what Eckler really can do and how much he can handle. Maybe this is the week where he gets a lot of work. Just maybe. This is, again, we don't have anything to go off right now. I can just see Eckler getting a good amount of work in this first game. And because of that, I decided to jump him a little bit higher than maybe I would have normally. And that's really the only reasoning there. And I think that's the only one where Saquon's another one where maybe at Pittsburgh, we're playing, I think it's home against Pittsburgh, but playing against Pittsburgh is, like we just said about Daniel Jones, that is where maybe I should lower him. I have him at 3. Maybe I should. I did drop him from my normal 2, but maybe he should go a couple spots lower. Where did you go end up with Saquon?
I put him at number 4. I delve in above him. Look, especially week 1. I mean, I don't want to make excuses by any means, but I do think that because I don't want to get overly cute with it, I do keep it closer to my normal rankings than I normally would. Like, even I don't have any issue with Austin Eckler at number 7. Cincinnati, we know that last year they were horrendous, right? I put him at 10, but even for like, even Mixon or maybe I'm trying to think of someone else that might not have a great matchup or as good. I think the only one that I really penalized was Nick Chubb. Going at Baltimore, also I don't know how they're going to use Kareem Hunt. He dropped lower for me than he normally would. But once again, I will feel that one out. But other than that, I kind of went pretty straightforward with it.
Yep. Nothing too crazy. Again, if you want the full scope of the ranks, go check them out on fantasyfootballprofit.com. You'll be able to see everything we did here. I'll say, like, I did end up raising maybe James White more than I normally would. I put him at 26 just because who's going to get the ball there? James White seems like he's a pretty reliable option, so I threw him up there. I actually did also increase Tariq Cohen to 24 because Montgomery's not going to be there, right?
Yeah, we think way too alike. I have Tariq Cohen at 25. I have James White at 30.
Okay, so yeah.
So we're on the same wavelength there.
Then,
my question for you, the interesting one for me is where does Antonio Gibson fall for you?
I put him 27.
I put him 26. Wow, we're really okay. We're on kind of the same page.
Yeah. So the funny thing is Devin Singletary. So we're big Devin Singletary fans. I'm going to be cautious on my first week rank with Devin Singletary. I put him down I put him 28.
I put him 24, and I thought I was being downgrading.
Right. So we're being cautious.
But we truly believe in the guy.
We believe in it, but I get why maybe you don't want to. There is a wait and see. Okay, is this Moss thing real? And I'll be honest, I don't quite buy that. Moss, we've talked about it before. Since I talked about this, we completely wrote off Moss a while back. Since we talked about that, the Moss hype has just gone through the roof. It's insane to me, off the charts with the Moss hype. You know, you go on Twitter and it's Moss is better. Moss is now clearly a better running back than Devin Singletary. Clearly, right? Everyone has seen so much Zach Moss this preseason. You've watched him play so many times that we know for sure he's now better than Devin Singletary. We've seen so much of him that is a conclusion you can make up now. You can 100% say that, right?
I'm kind of, first of all, we're already high in Singletary, right?
I'm just going to,
I cannot wrap my head around it. I can understand if you say, hey, it's a running back on Buffalo. I don't really, Josh Allen is going to run. They can't really get the passing game completely going. Like, I think he's going to struggle in order to sustain success. And they're also going to, I can understand if you made kind of a reference to be like, their number one running back isn't going to be anything special. But the fact that, I'm hearing that Zach Moss is going to be a top 15 back for some people. And I don't know where that leaves Singletary. It also makes me believe that you didn't see any games of Singletary last year. I can't get that through my head, let alone people completely writing Singletary off. Like last year didn't happen. The second half of last year when he was the starting back, he looked great. Mm-hmm. He was a easy top 20 back. He could be a top 15 back. Very easy for the rest of the year. He's already established himself there. They like him. Mm-hmm. You watch him, he is amazing for a runner of his size to find holes in between the tackles runner. Maybe he's not going to be the automatic burner, but he is unbelievably shifty in there with not a lot of room to move. I think people are really, really blowing this way out of proportion. And I could be wrong, but I think this one is going to be one of them that we just I look at the drafts, and I think this is when we knock out of the park because we've gotten Singletary so many times because of this Zach Moss love. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm over it. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm absolutely over that one. I think this one is just crazy town.
Yep. A lot of it too this week is they're going against the Jets, right?
Right.
The Jets' run defense was great last year, so that's a big consideration there. I mean, the Jets were. I think I just pulled up a stat a little bit ago. They had like a 3.3 yards per carry against them. It was like tied for the best. Like they were way up there. They were really good run defense. Maybe it doesn't happen again this year. Obviously, it's not the same, but there's enough pieces still there where it's a concern. You know, I'm not always banking on last year's numbers, but week one, you just go off of what little info you do have. So I still love Singletary though. So don't worry. I still do. I'm on board. And I'm starting him this week. So hey.
There we go.
All right. Wide receivers, nothing crazy here, I don't really think, at the top. It's Michael Thomas for me. Let's see here. Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams. I went Tyreek Hill. I went Julio as my top 4. You probably have like the same top 4, maybe just in a different order. I don't know. Michael Thomas is 1, though, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same similar guys.
Yeah, I have Tyreek Hill number 2. I mean,
so
that's really it.
The jaded Lions fan in me put Allen Robinson number 5.
I didn't. I still went Kenny Galladay number 5.
Hey, I've seen this before.
I can't do that, man.
I've seen it. I've seen it. This is the Lions fan. I've seen it so many times where Mitch Trubisky is going to look good this weekend.
Right.
Right. Like,
week number 1, everyone will be like, yeah, of course we gave up all those picks.
Allen Robinson, man, Allen Robinson's going to have a game, but I put him 5. And honestly, this is probably a lot of Lions fan in me, just seeing the worst case scenario.
Yeah. And you look at the secondary, I mean, technically our best CB should be a rookie this year. So I do have Allen Robinson up in the top 10, which I normally wouldn't do. I think he's a very good wide receiver too, but I have him at 7. So I'm not completely, going against the grain.
And then I went with Godwin and Galladay. Hopkins is at 8. It's the San Francisco thing. We'll just wait and see. I actually, for some reason, I see a big game from A.J. Brown this week. He jumped to 9 for me, which I know is a little up there. That's about 4 spots higher than consensus rank, but something about it, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, why not? I mean,
it's one of those it's more of a gut feeling call.
Yeah.
That's really what that is.
And a wide receiver, I mean, that's what you have to do, especially week 1. Once again, I try not to do anything too crazy, but there's certain guys that I definitely ramp up a bit, right? Like a lot of people are going to have Robert Woods higher than Cooper Kupp. And I'm one of those guys until I see how they do it. I believe in Cooper Kupp a little more, like I hedge my bets. But it's anyone's guess. I'm way high in DJ Chark. I have him at 11.
Oh, nice.
I think they're going to have to throw a ton. So I just believe in the usage of him. I also put Will Fuller at 17. I don't know where you have him.
Will Fuller. I don't have. I have 26. I'm lower.
Right now, as long as if he's going to be healthy, I have to believe that they're going to use him.
It could be a shootout there.
Yeah, until he gets hurt. I'm gonna keep putting him up there.
Let's see some other guys. Let's see here. Terry McLaurin. I jumped. I'm telling you, this isn't biased because I drafted him in our main league the other day.
Yeah, no, of course not.
I jumped him to 16 this week. I like him.
All right, I have him in 19.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's not biased here. I'm not letting that factor in. So Cortland Sutton, I know you love Cortland Sutton, but where'd you put him this week? It's not a great matchup.
No, I really do like Cortland Sutton, but I put him at 24.
Tennessee's a tough team to play against.
Tough team, and also let's find out if Drew Lock really is everything. And week 1 is a tough matchup for a guy that is, for all intents and purposes, really a rookie almost still. So let's find out.
I dropped Odell to 22 because of the matchup. I didn't try to do too much matchup things, but the little we do know, I just don't.
I don't know why I'm so afraid of Baltimore. I really am. Just that initial game with Cleveland. Because I have Odell at 23 as well. That's why I said that, because I am high on him and Baker this year. I just week 1 freaks me out for whatever reason. Is there anyone else that is probably higher on your list than most people?
Deshaun Jackson. I have him up at 28 just because. This feels like the Deshaun Jackson game. And there's no receivers.
I get where you're coming from. I actually should probably put him higher. I have my pride almost says don't do it.
But you know the Deshaun Jackson game, and he always does this early, right?
It's very true because there's no one else there right now. And all he has to do is get one big play.
He's done that a million times where he looks good early. Yeah. It happens. One of the comments, scrolling through comments is, why is A.J. Brown so high? Yeah, I tell you, I did have him higher than, it was gut feeling there.
I mean, it's hard not to when
I don't try to do a lot of like gut feeling
No.
calls, but that's just two people said that.
and also
Why so high in AJ?
look what he did last year. I mean,
Yep.
it's not that crazy to think that. And also, he's a big play waiting to happen.
Yep.
At week 1, it'd be great. Like guys that can break it off for huge gains would be definitely someone I would want to look at rather than can you bank on the fact that they're going to get 10 targets, right? Only the top guys are ever going to, like, can you predict that?
Yep. All right, so there's some of the receivers. Tight end wise, again, very straightforward for me at the beginning. Except again, telling you this isn't biased, Jeff. I went George Kittle number 1 after a draft.
Completely biased.
Kittle and Kelsey, you can go either way.
Yeah, who knows?
Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz, Darren Waller. It doesn't really change much. Hunter Henry's there. Then I have Evan Ingram. Then I have Hayden Hurst. I did decide to go Higbee in my top 10. He's at 9, but it's just for this week, whatever. And Dallas Goedert made my top 10. Again, it's Ertz, Goddard, and Deshaun Jackson essentially to throw the ball to, right?
Yeah.
With a good matchup. So I think he's going to have a good week. I really do. So Goddard made my top 10. That dropped Gronk outside of it, but Gronk for me is just I don't know exactly what it is yet. We'll see, but he should be. He's a top 10 type guys right there.
That might be a, how you've been a little bit of who you drafted.
Yeah.
I did put Gronk at 8. Once again, it's kind of one of these things where, when I know that he is healthy and fully ready to go, I amp him up a little bit more because I'm like, okay, he doesn't have anything nagging, and right now on that team, the only people that have really played real downs together are Brady and Gronk. So I do have to believe that this would be his best opportunity to establish himself. So I put him at 8. I also have Goddard in the top 10. Obviously, I love him this year for every reason you were talking about. I think he has to be one of the bigger weapons. Hurst, I still have to see it. I put him at 13th. I know people hate that. But the one I'm interested in knowing you is Gesicki.
I have him down. I have him at 18. It's just because
What?
It's because of New England. I still, even though, okay, I know they don't have a lot of the guys on that team. I get it. But I just feel like Belichick's going to do something. He's going to figure it out.
That's true. But
that's my worry.
Okay.
It's New England.
I put him at 11, and I kind of believe in Gesicki and Devontae Parker
and Fitzpatrick
to begin the year well, because I also don't think they're going to be all that great in defense. So you're going to have to shoot out.
You know what? And I guess Miami did beat New England at the end of last year.
And also
right?
New England, like 3 of their very good defensive players opted out. That is kind of where I'm kind of like, I could see that being a very interesting matchup.
There's a lot of cautiousness on my ranks this week of guys I even like, but let's just wait and see a little
totally
bit.
Totally get it. Yep. Same thing. I like Jonnu Smith, but this week I kept him at 16th because I'm like, until I see it, you know what I mean?
All right. So end this one off with we're going to do some flex questions, because if you ask the question of a certain player in a position, just check out the ranks. That's what we think. Both mine and Jeff's ranks are up there. So if you feel more comfortable with one of the two of them, hey, go, pick the other one. So here we go. We got some flex questions. We got BZT3. It's a PPR question. Would you go James White or DJ Chark? And I think I already know this one. DJ Chark for you. And yeah, I'm going to go DJ Chark. I had James White a decent rank, but I do like DJ Chark. Ethan Taylor asks us, this is a PPR question. Would you start Stephon Diggs, Ruggs, or Mostert? So we know it's going to be Diggs over Ruggs. So is it Diggs or Mostert?
Man, the classic 49ers question that we don't have an answer for yet.
Because it's just...
And is that a PPR or no?
That is PPR.
If that's PPR, I lean Diggs for this one because it's anyone's guess as far as 49ers. I could be completely wrong on this one, but I'd lean towards the wide receiver since then you'll get a few points anyway. Because also, he's their shiny new toy. I have to believe they're going to try to force feed him the ball to a certain extent.
You know what? I think I'm actually going to go the other way.
You go Mostert?
Yeah, and it's questionable, but yeah, I think I'll go Mostert. I think I'd go with that. Fantasy Julio asks us. This is another PPR. Stop playing PPR, guys. Well, okay, I'm not going to get into it, but sorry. I know that's not a popular opinion, but all right. I'm trying not to. I was about to rant there, Jeff.
I do have a question, actually. This is a very interesting one because Mostert, I like this because you really have to think about it when they put this kind of question out there. Where do you have Mostert ranked right now as far as a running back?
So Mostert, let me pull this back up. I have him 22 this week. So I don't know. Let me see if I can see where that is compared to consensus. I actually don't really know consensus-wise how that is. Okay, he's 21 consensus, so I'm actually a spot lower on him.
Yeah, and then where do I have Diggs? I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I
have Diggs lower this week.
I have him 25.
I do. No, maybe I'm looking at your ranks.
Well, it's a hard one too because you said the Jets are actually good against the run, so you would actually have a better opportunity to pass.
Possibly.
I'm trying to work that one through my head. I think that was a very interesting one because Mostert does have a huge high upside, but why? And we haven't seen Diggs yet.
It might be safer to go Mostert.
It might be. I'm struggling on this one. Maybe I walk that one back a little bit after I really think about it. It's an interesting one. Maybe Mostert ended up so good last year.
He did. It's interesting. We don't know how because they have Coleman, they have McKinnon even possibly.
Right. I mean, that's kind of where I was kind of like, I guess that he would be the better upside if you think you're going to win anyway. I stick with Diggs.
All right. Fantasy Julio asks us, this is PPR. Would you start Jonathan Taylor or Marvin Jones? And I'll go Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
All right. Let me see. Got some more questions. All right. Half point PPR. Need to start a wide receiver and a flex.
Okay.
So here are the options.
There's going to be a ton of them, aren't there?
So, first of all, the wide receivers, okay. If we go off our ranks, geez, what would you go? I think, you know what? There's some names that you would, wide receiver wise, it's Deontay Johnson, Justin Jefferson, Curtis Samuel, Allen Lazard. So if you go down your ranks today, because you have to go down a little bit for this one, Deontay Johnson is probably your highest ranked, probably my highest ranked. But out of those players, I'm guessing, definitely Curtis Samuel's not an option.
No, I wouldn't put him up there.
So it's just probably, I mean, they're all young guys, obviously, but I think I go Deontay Johnson there. Actually, I think I still go Deontay Johnson. Jefferson and Lazard, I want to see something this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it shakes out. It would be close between Deontay Johnson and Justin Jefferson, but I do have Deontay higher. We've seen him, in the offense. So
I think it ends up being pretty clear because even at flex then, because his other options then become Kareem Hunt and Cam Akers, and I'm going to pick one of those two over the receivers all day for me. It's not close. So I'd go Akers. I'd go Akers and Deontay Johnson, I think. I don't really think I'd I think that's pretty simple, right? All right. Here we go. Henry asks, looking for one player to start at flex. Melvin Gordon, Antonio Gibson. This is PPR. Melvin Gordon, Antonio Gibson, DK Metcalf, Odell Beckham.
What in the world? Man.
It's good flex players, huh?
Yeah, very.
So that's a tough one. So if you go off ranks, we have Gordon ahead of Gibson, right? And we have, the Beckham Metcalf is close. So I have Beckham one spot ahead of Metcalf.
I have Metcalf one spot ahead of Beckham. So there we go.
This is tough. Except I think I just go Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon, yeah. I would go with this safe bet. I guess it's not even safe. That is interesting. Those are all very good players, but man, it would be really helpful to be able to have one game to see how everyone's used. But yeah, Melvin Gordon, I think I would go with him. Antonio Gibson is a very interesting one, but Washington's not all that good. Melvin Gordon is one goal line rush away from getting you a touchdown at least. Odell, let's see it against Baltimore before we go ham on him. And then DK would be an interesting one for me if you wanted the upside. But I would go TD upside, which I think Melvin Gordon has over any of them. So I would go Gordon. But, man, that is close.
Yep. All right. Another Melvin Gordon. This is Melvin Gordon or Tyler Boyd. And I'll go Melvin Gordon again.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got to start two here. PPR, start two. James White, Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Parker. So, Taylor. I'll probably go Taylor and White.
I go Taylor and Parker.
Ooh. You're not gonna buy on the White yet.
No, I mean,
maybe you're right. Let me think.
I get that.
No, I'm gonna go White. I feel safer. I'm just being so cautious week one. It feels like, geez.
I mean, I get it, but without Tom Brady, Cam Newton
maybe
could do all the rushing himself. I don't even know. Like that seems risky to me. Fitzpatrick, as long as he's starting, I know they're gonna have to air the ball out. There's no. I mean, it's him or Gesicki. So, yeah, for me, I would go Parker and I can't believe I'm going, immediately I go to the rookie, but I think he's the number one for both of us.
All right. That is going to do it for today with your flex questions. So, yeah, every week, just send us your flex questions. Our ranks will be pretty straightforward. So send us flex questions, and we will, try to reason them through and figure it out. But we'll be doing this every week on our rankings episode. So this week, our episodes are a little thrown off a little bit, but normally this ranking episode will go out every Wednesday. Mondays we'll have late Sunday night will be our reaction to the week in the NFL. The Sunday in the NFL will come out late Sunday nights. Tuesday's episode will always be our waiver wire. Wednesday will be ranks. We're basically we'll breeze through the ranks. We really want to get to your questions and your comments. I'll post them up. I want to hear what people think about the ranks, and we'll maybe get some good conversations going based on maybe people think we're a little wrong.
Yeah.
Like Jude Kennedy says Miles Sanders should be higher. So, you might be right, and we'll get into that sometimes. Week 1, I just don't have the strongest opinions. I had Miles Sanders at 12, and that's where he said Miles Sanders should be higher. You had him in 8, or is that right? 8?
Yeah.
So you would agree with Jude there.
I mean, I love him. Once again, I hate to go towards that too much, but I look at who's there, right? I mean, you have 2 tight ends and a running back. I think they're going to use him heavily. They have to use him in every aspect. He was great last year. Why not? I do. Before we get off, I do have one question for you. So much of this is wait and see, right?
Yeah,
and
a lot of
it's
it.
true, and we don't. Not trying to be annoying by saying that, but I will push it even further, right? So if it is wait and see, who is one situation or one player that you think week 1 will tell you the most about? Like, who are you really interested in seeing week 1?
Okay, it's we're gonna say we talk about this. I want to see Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. I need to see this, and I got music playing.
Playing us off.
Yeah, they're trying to get us off this episode. I need to see that situation. That'll tell me so much if Singletary is the guy or not. It's those situations. I want to see that, and I want to see the 49ers. And maybe I made a mistake not keeping Mostert.
Who knows?
One of those two. But I want to see those situations, really. The other ones, there isn't a lot of them that I'm like completely... A lot of them are, I think, straightforward as can the guys play or not. But those two are just, there's so many question marks right now. And I don't even know where, like we said, the Singletary question marks, where they're coming from. I need to see that situation. That's the most curious I am about any situation in the NFL right now. And I know that's not probably not as many other people are like, oh, I can't wait to see that Buffalo Bills backfield. I can't wait. I need to see this. I need to see.
I'm not as interested in that one because I already know what the outcome's going to be.
Okay,
Singletary is going to be.
I need to see it. I need to see it to ease my mind.
I do have to say, there's 2 that I'm interested in seeing, and both of them are bad teams, and that's what we love to say. But one of them is the Raiders, which I really believe it could tell us a lot about Henry Ruggs or Bryan Edwards, right? Which both are possible to get in your league.
Yep.
I think that is going to be a huge one because who knows? Maybe with Tyrell Williams going down, and then we'll see what kind of team they turn into. But I mean, really, the only guy they have to throw to that was a guaranteed guy was Waller. So one of these other guys could step in and actually get a lot of work. The other one is, as a team in general, as an offense, I really want to see the New York Jets. For one, we've heard a lot of crap about Le'Veon Bell. If the coach really hates him, we're about to find out.
We'll find out,
And also,
it's true.
The wide receiving crew is so messed up right now that you really just guess who you really like the most. I've guessed Brashad Perriman. Mims is an interesting rookie, Crowder or whoever. Like, I think that is going to be interesting to be like, who's actually salvageable out of those teams, and do they offer anything as far as fantasy value and being guys that you can still get, which I think definitely look at those and how they use them. Don't get swept up in one big play, but see how they really want to use them.
How upset are you going to be if Frank Gore is stealing goal line touches?
I would be very upset.
All right. That'll do it for today. We'll be back. So this is coming out. This is the Thursday episode. So tonight, very late, we will have the instant reaction to Chiefs-Texans. We're going to try to have that thing out for you 10, 15 minutes after the game ends. That's how quickly we're going to try to get that out. It's going to be a quick reaction because there's only one game to go to. And hopefully it's interesting stuff. It's the Chiefs. It should be fun. So we have it's very curious to see what happens with the Texans. And is Cooks going to be good? Is he going to step up? And then is David Johnson have anything left at all? that's going to be an interesting one. And then Edwards, there's a lot of things we can answer.
There's a ton. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Game. So look for that. That'll be out right after the game. So you can listen to it late tonight. Put your notifications on. You'll get that notification as soon as that thing goes out, and you can see and hear our instant reaction to that. So check that out tonight. But that'll be it. Until then, talk to you guys later.